Success isn't just about money. It's about winning in every area of life. Welcome to the Larry Holsey podcast, where we dive into leadership, business, personal growth, investing, and family so you can prosper the way God intended. I'm Larry Holsey, and each episode will bring you the wisdom, strategies, and motivation to help you level up in every part of your life. So if you're ready to grow, lead, and succeed, let's get started. Hey, here we go, guys. This is Larry Holsey, and this is the Larry Holsey podcast. So I'm excited to be talking to you guys today. We've been working through some of this stuff by Napoleon Hill, the 17 Success Principles by Napoleon Hill, and this is just really good stuff. I just love it. But listen, if you find value in what we're sharing today, what I'm sharing with you, and Napoleon Hill, me and Napoleon Hill is we. If you find value in what we're sharing, listen, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, our YouTube channel at Larry Holsey. We'll also have this up on, Spotify, podcast, Apple Podcasts, everywhere that you can get your normal podcast. We'll have it up in those places as well. So I'm super excited to continue this study. We're on lesson 14 of the 17 principles of success. And just to recap, man, if you don't know who Napoleon Hill is, Napoleon Hill was the original, he was like the OG of personal development. Okay, so personal development is a big thing these days, or a bigger thing these days. You got all kinds of people with podcasts and with, success books and self-help books and things like that. But Napoleon Hill, he was one of the first to really compile all the secrets of success in one volume. It was a book called Think and Grow Rich. Okay. And one of the richest men in the world, a guy by the name of Andrew Carnegie, commissioned Napoleon Hill and gave him like letters of introduction to the 500 wealthiest men in America at that time. Okay. And so it took him 20 years to compile all of this data, or all of these lessons that he learned. So 20 years he went around interviewing these guys, taking notes, compiling what he found to be the threads of success, and he put them in a book called Think and Grow Rich. Now, if you have not read that book, I highly, highly recommend it. I've read it multiple times. It's kind of one of those books you can go back to, read through, reapply, apply. There's a lot to it, and it's kind of written in that older English style, because it was written in, I'm not sure the exact year, but maybe 1920 or 1910, 1900, somewhere around there. So it's got a little bit of an older English style to it, but man, it is solid. If you will take what you learned from that book and apply it, it'll really change your life for the better. So, all right, so let's jump in. We're going to talk about, and I have my very stylish red Solo cup right now, so I'm high society here. Anyway, I'm in my house in Texas right now. We've been traveling like crazy. Oh my gosh, it's been wild. My son had, I've got two boys. I got 2 boys and 2 girls, but I've got 2 of my boys. They both play baseball, so I've got a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old, and the 13-year-old had 10 tournaments this spring. Okay, 10 tournaments. My older boy plays high school ball, so he had games all over the state. I'm in Amarillo, Texas. He had games in Dallas. 4 or 5 times we had to travel to Dallas for his games. And then my little baby girl, who's 11, she is in gymnastics. So we had all that, and my oldest girl just got married. So it's been wild. It's been crazy. And anyway, I'm just glad to be at home for a little bit, to kind of relax and not be traveling every single weekend and every single week, along with, everything else we have going on. So anyway, let's talk about lesson 14, which is creative vision. Okay. And I'll talk to you about I'm going to read some of the things here that Napoleon Hill has said in his works here, but he said, creative vision is a quality of the mind belonging only to men and women who follow the habit of going the extra mile. Okay, remember, going the extra mile is one of the 17 habits of success. And anybody who's a winner in anything has created a habit of going the extra mile. Okay. And I certainly created that habit. I didn't have that habit as a kid. I was certainly relentless and wouldn't, if I wanted something, I would definitely go for it. But I look back, like, for example, like on my high school athletics career, I played football, I pole vaulted, I ran track, I played baseball when I was younger, but had stopped that by the time I got to high school. But I look back and I think, man, if I'd had the habit of going the extra mile back then, how much more I could have achieved at that time in my life. But I didn't really have that habit. I mean, when it came to conditioning at the end of football practice, I just didn't go the extra mile. I didn't really give it everything that I had. And I look and I just, I wouldn't say I regret it. Well, I mean, maybe a small amount of regret. It's not that big of a deal, but I just think I would have done better. I would have gone farther had I really had that habit of going the extra mile, which I certainly developed very quickly after I got out of when I started my own business, worked with some of my mentors. And one of the things I learned, two skills that I learned, I'll give you two secrets for me that really made a big difference for me. One was to pretty much act in the opposite direction of my feelings. Okay. So however I feel is probably going to take me down the wrong path. Okay. Because your feelings are liars, and your feelings, if we only do what we feel like doing, we're going to be a loser. And I didn't want to be a loser. I was already a loser. I'd failed out of college. I was waiting tables, so broke. I was riding a bicycle to and from my job, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I was losing. Okay. So I was a loser at that time. So I knew that whatever I felt like doing was probably in opposition to what I really wanted in my life. Okay. So when I started my own business, I trained myself to ignore my feelings, to do the opposite of my feelings. Now, that works great in business. Okay. Now, in other areas, it's good to maybe get in touch with your feelings a little bit. But anyway, I'm still working on that balance. But I really learned to ignore my feelings and just do what needed to be done. Okay. Do what my responsibilities were. Do what I needed to do to grow my business. And that served me very well. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing was to, what was the second thing? Sometimes I do this. I'll be like, hey, here's the first thing. And then, I'll forget what the second thing is. So let's see here. If it's important, it'll come back to me. All right, cool. I'm just going to jump in here. If that comes back to me, we talked about going the extra mile. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Going the extra mile. So I would train myself that if I needed to make, if I'd set up my plan to do 10 presentations a day, for example. Okay. If I was going to do 10 presentations in a day or in a week or whatever, I would always make an effort to do an extra one. Okay. So that I didn't stop at the minimum. Okay. So whatever I said is, this is what I'm going to do. Go for it to get that done in that period, in that period of time or that day or whatever, but then try to get an extra one. If I need, make an extra call, do an extra follow-up, send an extra text, make an extra post on social media, whatever it might be, try to always do that one more. And this is something Ed Milet talks about, is doing one more. Okay. And whenever you give that one more effort, now those one more efforts could be in the gym. Those one more efforts, they add up and they stack up over the course of time. Whereas the opposite is also true. If you do one less, okay, you do a little less than is expected, a little bit less, and you don't quite follow all the way through, that can be a 10 to 20% difference. And if you're doing that stacked up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, you're not going to get what you're really wanting in your life. Okay. You're going to get far more if you compound these little good behaviors, these little right decisions, these little extra miles that you go in every area. Okay. So you want to develop the habit of going the extra mile, because that's what's going to make all the difference. Now, what's great about today's world? Almost nobody goes the extra mile. Can you believe the customer service we get in this world today? It's freaking terrible. It's like customer service is almost dead. I mean, it's wild. So if you got anybody who's willing to play full out, who's willing to go all in, who's willing to serve the customer, work like crazy, make things happen, that person is going to dominate. And that's why I'm so excited for my kids. My kids are going to rule the world. And your kids can too, because these kids, my kids, for example, my kids go all the way. They go for it. They give the extra effort. They make eye contact. They shake hands. Things that we've trained them to do. But those skills are they're gonna offer them great opportunity in this world. And I tell them that all the time, that they're gonna rule the world. And so they better be working to better themselves, to be the best they can, to seek God's wisdom, and to really make sure that they're ready for that. So not necessarily rule the world, but they're gonna win. They're gonna win big time. All right. So when we're talking about creative vision, it requires imagination. Okay, and Napoleon illustrates two types of imagination. Okay, so he talks about synthetic imagination and creative imagination. So synthetic imagination, the way he describes it, would be imagination, I'll just read it to you, which consists of a combination of previously recognized ideas, concepts, plans, or facts arranged in a new order or put to a new use. So that comes from your environment, okay, what you're seeing, hearing, reading, listening to, taking those things and reorganizing them in a way that is that can be used in a new way, used in, like whenever I listen to any kind of business training or any kind of events that I attend, which I attend a lot of events, even if they're not specific to my business, I want to take, okay, how can I apply this to my business, to my my primary business? How can I apply this here? And I think I'm always thinking of ways that I could do that. Okay, so that'd be an example of synthetic imagination. Creative imagination, the way that Napoleon Hill describes it here, has its base in the subconscious section of the mind and serves as the medium by which basically new facts or ideas are revealed through the faculty of the sixth sense. Okay, so these would be more organic, creative imagination that come from the subconscious mind. Okay, so I'm really into. Let me just, I've got my wife is asking me a question here. I'm going to go ahead and text her back because, you want to respond to your wife when she texts you. Okay, so. All right, so anyway, so let's talk about how to cultivate your creative vision. Okay, so like your creative vision in context of what you're going to have, what you're going to create in your life. Okay, what you're going to achieve in your life. So it's really important. If you look in, for example, in the Bible, in I believe it's Hosea 4:6, I think it says, "Without a vision, the people perish." Okay, and I could be wrong on the verse. In fact, let me look it up here. Let's just see. Okay, but it says, "Without a vision, the people perish." Hosea 4:6, I think is what it is. I don't want to tell you wrong, though. No, Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," which is also a very telling verse. My people, God saying, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So, okay, so let's find out where there is no vision, the people perish. Let's see here. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Okay, it's from Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Okay, so if you don't have vision for your life, you're going to perish. Okay, and you're going to die a little bit inside if you don't have a vision for where you're headed. Okay, so here's something you can do to create vision. Okay, so, man, sometimes we've just had vision just beat out of us, okay, through the school system, maybe through parents or through adults in our lives telling us to not get our hopes up or not dream too big, or, whatever, well-meaning people that maybe are just trying to protect us from being disappointed or whatever. So it's important that you develop the muscle of creating and expanding your vision. So an exercise that we do with our team often is we will do an exercise. It's called the be, do, have. It's be, do, have exercise, okay? And so what I would recommend is for you to do this, okay? Take time to do this and let me know how it goes for you. So take time and set a timer for like 5 minutes, Okay, and you're going to do this 3 times. You're going to make 3 lists. And on this list, you're going to, for the first list you're going to write is things you'd like to be or become. Okay, and I got this from Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar is one of my early mentors. Man, what an amazing guy. So I actually got to meet him on one occasion, got a picture with him. In fact, I got a picture of him with me right over here. You want to see it? Check it out. So this is when I was, well, you can't see it because of the light there. Oh, yeah, there it is. Well, yeah, that's me with him. And I was 23 years old there. So my wife attended this event with me. It was great. This is before she was my wife. This is when she was my assistant. And she'd been plotting and scheming on how she was going to get to date me since the 8th grade. All right. So we'll bring her on sometime. She can maybe tell you her side of the story. But anyway, so you want to write down. So I got this exercise from him, be, do, have. So you want to write down as many things as you can in 5 to 7 minutes, as many things that you can think of that you want to be or become. Okay. So maybe you want to be a great dad. You want to be a strong leader. You want to be a powerful business person. You want to be a pilot. You want to be the things that you want to be or become. Okay. Now this list sometimes is hard for people because they maybe don't think in those terms, but just let your pen go, let your brain go and write down everything that you can imagine that you want to be or become. Okay. So don't leave anything. If it comes to your brain, write it down. Okay. All right. Don't think, oh, well, I could never be that. Well, don't worry about whether you could or couldn't. Just write it down and get it on paper. Okay. So be or become. The second list, I want you to take 5 minutes, set a timer, maybe turn on some cool music that you like while you're doing this, and think about what are things, write down everything you can think of that you'd like to do. Okay, so write down everything you can think of you'd like to do. And so you want to travel around the world. You want to fly first class. You want to become a pilot. You want to learn Spanish. You want to learn German. You want to do whatever it is that you want to do. You want to write these things down. I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Malaysia. I want to go to Israel. It could be travel things. Could be things I want to learn to drive race cars. I want to learn to fly. I think I said that. So anything that you would like to do. I want to speak on stages around the world. I want to start a podcast. I want to whatever. Okay. Think of the things you'd like to do. Now, the third list, and again, when you're writing the things you like to do, don't limit yourself to what you think you can accomplish. Just if you want to, if it comes in your brain, just write it down. All right. Now, the third thing is things that you'd like to have. Things that you'd like to have or own. All right. So I'd like to have a 10,000 square foot home. I'd like to have a special ski boat, or I'd like to have a yacht or a helicopter or an airplane or a certain car or a four-wheelers, or I don't know, whatever it is that you want to have. Okay. So if you spend 5 minutes on things you want to be or become, 5 minutes on things you want to do, 5 minutes on things you want to have, you're going to have 3 great vision lists that you can work from to develop the vision for your life. All right. So what I would do then is I'd look through the list and I would create a dream board. Okay. A dream board that will help you envision this life that you're wanting to create. Okay. That's going to have the things, some of the things you want to be, the important things you want to be. Maybe you take the top 5. The top 5 are like the highest priority things, and you put those on there. The top 5 things you want to do, or say top 10. Top 10 you want to be, top 10 do, top 10 have. And then create a dream board, a visual representation, either on a poster board, or you can create it on, digitally on your computer with like Canva or PowerPoint. And you can create a visual representation of this dream life that you want to achieve. Okay? Achieve and experience. So then you have the vision in reality. Okay? So here's what happens. When you start writing down that be, do, have list, that list becomes, it's the first entrance whenever you take that idea out of your brain and you write it on paper. That idea of that physical reality coming to your life is its first physical entrance into the world. It's very exciting, okay? It stretches your brain and your mind where the mind cannot go back. Once it gets stretched, it can't go back to this little way of thinking, okay? It gets stretched and then it's stretched forever. Its dimensions have changed. So you write it on paper, and then when you take it off the paper and you put a visual representation in either a digital format or a physical, on like a poster board, and you cut out, like magazine pictures, or you print them offline and cut them out and put visual images that represent that dream, those dreams that you want to achieve, those things you want to be, do, and have. If you will do that, this is such a game changer. Do that. Focus on those things. Look at that every day. Okay? Look at that every day. And what you focus on is what you attract. What you envision and what you consistently focus on is what you're going to attract in your life. So focus on the things you want, because we all know that so many people, we focus on the things we don't want. We focus on our problems. We focus on our bills. We focus on our people problems or problems in our business or our job or whatever. But when we do that, we attract more of what we focus on. So we get more problems. So we want to focus on what's the vision for our life? What is the dream lifestyle we want? What's that going to be like? And let's focus our energy right there. Okay. So I hope this is helpful for you. I want you to put this into action. I really want to know who does it, number one. And guys, you'll be surprised. Doing it alone will create a different excitement about life for you. Okay. But if you will also focus on and look at that dream board, look at it every day, look at it twice a day, put it up somewhere where you're working and have it, if you'll look at it, well, there's different levels. You could just have it in the room where you glance at it every now and then, or you could have it in the room and you could stare at it for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, and really envision yourself in that dream. I'm telling you, it'll make a monster difference in how quickly you're able to attract those things and achieve those things. So it'll be awesome. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you today. Thanks for listening in to our podcast, the Larry Holsey podcast. You can find our episodes on YouTube at Larry Holsey, and also anywhere else you get your podcast. Definitely give us a subscribe and a follow, and share with your friends if you find value here. And listen, have a great day. That's a wrap for today. If you got value from this episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. And if this message resonated with you, share it with a friend and connect with me on social media. I'm at Larry Holsey, and I'd love to hear how you're applying these lessons in your own journey. So remember, success is more than just one area of life. You want to keep growing, keep leading, and keep prospering the way God intended. We'll see you next time.